Welcome back to Pickleball Journey. Today we are talking about 6 of the top mistakes we see at all levels.
My name's Elisha.
I'm Justin.
Let's get into it.
All right, we're getting into the first mistake, which is one that I do all the time, and that's moving back while we're hitting a drop from the baseline. So what happens is we're getting pushed back a little bit deep, and we're falling back as we're hitting the shot. It's really tough to make this shot. A lot of times you're gonna miss this ball in the net. If you do make it, chances are you're popping the ball up because you're falling back and your paddle is facing up. So that ball's gonna go high in the air, or again, you're gonna miss it short because you don't have enough power on it. Now, what you wanna do instead here is you wanna get back first and then move your weight into the ball. So whatever you can do to get your weight shifting forward as you're hitting that ball, you're gonna have a much better chance of making this shot. You're gonna have much more control. And again, chances are you're not gonna miss this in the net as easily if your weight is going forward here.
One big mistake that we see on the pickleball court, especially in low levels, is watching your shot and not being ready or not getting in position for the next ball. So often, especially at the kitchen line, we see hitting to one corner and you're too busy watching your shot and how beautiful it is, we see the paddle fall or the stance get lazy, and all of a sudden we get a speed up and then we're not ready for it. So make sure when we watch the pros, make sure we are ready and we're also moving to the position we want to be in as a response to the shot that we hit. So if I'm in a dink battle and I hit to one side, my body shifts, my upper body shifts to that side and my ready position shifts so that I'm ready for the ball to put it to the next shot. You see pros often, they set up in a progression, different shots to get to the next thing to be able to put away in the end.
All right, so this next mistake, we see at a lot of levels, but particularly in 4 or 5 and below, we see this where people are trying to attack too many shots, particularly low balls. So if you're at the kitchen line, you're sitting there, a little bit of a squat, anything below the waist is a really tough ball to attack. Now again, not to say that you can't, you may be really good at attacking those balls, you may be a top level player that can hit those flick rolls like Ben Johns does, but more often than not, we're gonna miss those shots that are lower than our waist. So we wanna get that back into play. Don't make the mistake of trying to attack that too soon. Now, the ball that you do want to attack, and this may sound obvious, but if it's up a little bit higher, it's coming a little bit slow, and it's above the waist. Now be careful because this ball doesn't have to be a put away shot.
So one mistake that we see people make is they shift their grip when they're hitting different shots. So their backhand will be one grip and their forehand will be another. What we can do instead is make sure we have the same grip. The reason we don't want you to shift your grip is because you waste time. So instead of being ready, in position for that next ball, maybe taking it early out of the air, you're worrying about what grip you need to adjust for next. When you watch pros, you'll see that they'll use on their dominant hand the same grip for every single shot. So next time you go out and play, even if there's a learning curve that you have to have for your backhand to make sure it's the same grip, go ahead and train that, drill it, so that it comes up to the next level of what you're used to. So make sure that, try this out the next time you're out playing and try to work with it because it's gonna help your readiness to be able to have the same grip for all parts of your game.
All right, another common mistake that we see is people don't give themselves enough margin for error. So whether that's hitting it over the net, whether that's hitting a shot that's too close to the line, people don't give themselves margin to miss where they're aiming exactly. So when you're hitting a drop over the net, you want to give yourself a little bit of a space to clear the net so that if you hit it a little shorter than you thought you were going to hit it, it's still going to go over. Now keep in mind, the higher level player you are, the closer you can bring in those margins. So, for a high level player, they might aim just over the net because they're hitting that spot pretty tight with good accuracy and precision. Now, if you're, a lower level player and you're trying to hit this ball over the net, or again, you're trying to pass someone down the line, you might not want to aim right to that spot, but give yourself a little bit of room so in case you miss, that ball still can be in and you can win the point.
I ask my pickleball students, what's the definition of insanity? And they always respond, I don't know. So I tell them, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So this last mistake, a lot of people, what they do is they do the same thing over and over again, like hitting in the net, like hitting the ball out, footwork, bad decisions and movement. They do the same thing over and over again, and they expect to get better. They expect something else to happen. We cannot fall into this mental error. So what to do instead is make drastic changes. If you're hitting the ball in the net, make sure you're opening your face a lot so it's not even close to going in the net. So make sure that you're tricking your mind and your thought process into making drastic changes so you don't fall into the pattern of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Thanks so much for watching, and thanks to our sponsor, Engage, for the support. If you do want a 20% discount on any Engage paddle, check out the description and the link below.